All right, this is my audience. 2 virtual. Great. Imagine casting your vote in a presidential election, doing your part, hoping to make a difference, only to find out that your vote has almost no impact on the final result. Not because you didn't vote, but because of where you live. This is the reality for millions of Americans under the Electoral College system. Today, I want to talk to you about why the Electoral College is an outdated and undemocratic system that is failing American voters. I am a recently registered voter who voted in the 2024 election. I've analyzed and examined many prior elections, and I've seen how this creates massive inequality in our democracy. Additionally, I've written many papers over the Electoral College system and have exposed many of its flaws. Depending on where you live, you can have more or less power compared to your fellow American citizens. Whether you live in a small town or a big city, this issue affects all of us. If your vote doesn't count equally, then your voice in democracy is being silenced. In this speech, I will discuss how the Electoral College is not a fair representation of the American people, why the popular vote is a more fair and effective system, and show how our future would look with it implemented. First, I will discuss the issues with the Electoral College. The Electoral College is not a fair representation of the American people. For starters, it gives disproportionate power to smaller states. According to USA Facts, Wyoming accounts for 3 Electoral College votes. Based on the population of 587,618 people, they should only have 0.9 Electoral College votes. In comparison to Texas, Texas has 40 Electoral College votes. According to their population of 31,290,000 people, they should actually have 49 Electoral College votes. This data shows that Wyoming voters have significantly more power and influence with their votes in comparison to Texas voters. In fact, based on these numbers, each person's vote in Wyoming has around 4 times the impact of each person's vote in Texas. Also, candidates can win the Electoral College vote without winning the majority vote. According to 270 to win, in order to win the office, a candidate must receive 270 electoral votes. In 2016, Donald Trump won 304 electoral votes to Hillary Clinton's 227. That same year, Donald Trump only received 62,984,000 votes, whereas Clinton received 65,853,000 votes. This data shows that despite the fact that 3 million more Americans voted for Clinton than Trump, Trump still won because of the electoral system. This is not an accurate representation of the American voters. Lastly, elections are mostly decided by the decisions of a few swing states. Most states in America tend to vote the same throughout elections. For example, California typically votes Democrat, as they voted Democrat since 1988, and Oklahoma is almost always Republican. States such as Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan are considered battleground states or swing states. These states, and a few others, end up deciding entire elections because most other non-swing states, like California, are basically predetermined. Because of this, candidates heavily focus on winning voter support in swing states because they understand that the importance of winning the electoral votes in those states. A Republican candidate isn't going to waste a bunch of time in California because a heavy majority of the population always votes Democratic, so why waste their time? This causes some voters to receive more attention and have more power than others. A voter in Pennsylvania has way more power than a voter in California because their vote can help swing Pennsylvania and in turn help swing an election, whereas California is pretty much always stagnantly Democratic. Now that you understand the issues of the Electoral College, let's discuss alternatives. We must abolish the Electoral College system and replace it with a national popular vote. This would make it so that every vote would truly count equally. Instead of Wyoming voters having 4 times the voting power of Texas voters, each voter would have the same voice and power. 1 voter, 1 vote. Simple as that. Additionally, candidates would be forced to focus on all Americans, not just those in battleground states. California Republican voters would become a lot more valuable and heard as their votes wouldn't be immediately nullified by their Democratic Californian counterparts. This would also prevent another situation like 2016 from happening, as a president would be elected by popular vote. It should not be possible that a president can lose by 3 million votes yet still take the office. This shows just how corrupt the current system is. Another positive of the national popular vote is that voter turnout would likely increase. According to Global Citizen, despite voting being a constitutional right, only 55.7% of Americans voted in the 2016 election. Of the non-voters, 15% reportedly stated that they didn't vote because they believed that their vote didn't matter. Under the Electoral College system, this frame of mind is widely accepted because many people live in states where their vote simply gets nullified by an overwhelming majority. Switching to a popular vote system would get rid of that principle, which could in turn cause people to start believing that their votes do matter. This could increase voter turnout, and our elections will provide an even better reflection of the opinions of the American people. Now, let's discuss how this would affect America in the future. Switching to a popular vote system would create a more accurately represented American society. I want you guys to think about your own current situation. In Iowa, under the Electoral College system, do you believe that your voice is being heard? Or do you believe that your vote is just going into a pool that will eventually just turn into a Republican state because Iowa is predominantly Republican? Now imagine in a situation where there's a natural popular vote. Imagine where your vote counts the same as everybody else's vote, and it doesn't immediately get nullified by your state's citizen counterparts. Now, the good thing is progress is being made. According to NCSL, bills have been introduced to change voting from the Electoral College system to a popular vote. The National Popular Vote Bill will be enacted once enough states worth 270 Electoral College votes wish to enact it. As of right now, the bill is at 209 Electoral College votes. This visualization for a more representative America is in progress and could truly come into fruition for you and your children. In conclusion, the Electoral College is an unfair representation of the United States of America. It gives certain people more voting power and diminishes the voting power of others. To create a more equal and representative country, we must switch over to a popular vote system where the candidates who receive the most votes from the American people get elected. This would prevent another candidate from being elected, even if they lost a popular vote. If instated, citizens of America will have an equal voice and will likely feel more motivated to vote in elections, creating a more representative country. With the support of you and others, we can make steps towards passing the National Popular Vote Bill to bring these dreams into fruition. Who's with me? And my audience is still here. And yeah.